Hello, my astrology friends. Today I have a free course in regards of the 12 moons around the chart, the moon phases, which equals the lot of fortune or part of fortune for some people. So let's start. Okay, not many astrologers talk about a part of fortune, so I decided to make a video, a class about this, which is important because it represents not just a lucky side in your chart, with most astrologers said, but I don't agree with that part. I explored this in depth to studying the moons, and it's related to the moon phase that we born, which give us a special or unique personality trait. So here is the 12 moon phases around the chart, and we start in the new moon, which is the first one, and then we go around and around, and as is in house 1, the opposite complementary, it's 7. So here's the full moon, here's the new moon, new starters, new beginnings, newborn, so to speak, and the full moon. And on the sides, we have the waxing quarter, the crescent, because from the new moon start crescent, and then from the full moon start decreasing, so 1 1/4 until then, and go back again in the cycle. You know, the moon has a cycle, so let's see. The moon cycle, it's not actually 30 days like in the calendar, it's between 28 and 29 days. So the moon first, what is the moon? The moon is the unconscious side, so we don't see that because the moon doesn't have its own light. It projects the light from the sun, and the full moon is the one that projects most of the light. So it's usually used when people do some kind of rituals using the full moon to bring it to the light, to the outside, to make it visible. Like when you want to start something new, or promote a new book, a new art piece, and things like that. So in astrology, the moon represents our emotional world. It's our emotional world. It's basically where we move from. We move from our emotions. If we don't have it conscious, this side of ourselves, it will be kind of like a big, medium, or small issue. It depends of the moon you have in your natal chart. So our emotional world, our inner feelings, and as it says, inner feelings are inside, so you don't see them like in the moon. How we react to things, so we react from the emotional side. That's why emotional intelligence is very important. It also symbolizes our nurturing side as a mother or father, or mother-father figure, not just, having children of our own. Our relationships with maternal figures and our unconscious mind. So the moon's position in a birth chart, the moon sign, reveals how we process emotions, experience security, and express our inner desires. So saying this, let's keep moving. And now we're going to see how the moon works before we enter into the moon phases. Emotional reactions and inner self. So I put a small graphic that shows our emotions, and there's a book that I love for children that is called The Emotionary, and if you don't know it, you can Google it. It's pretty educational. The moon governs our emotional responses, how we react to situations, and what we need to feel safe and happy. It represents the part of ourselves that we might not vocalize or express but feel intensely within, so inside. Nurturing and care. The moon is associated with our ability to nurture ourselves and others, and it reveals how we give and receive love. And that has a relationship with how we were nurtured as a children by our mothers or grandmothers or caregivers, the representative of authority that nurture us and care for us when we were children. So, because when we are children, we are like a sponge, we are open and we learn by example. So, what we grasp at that age or stage in life, it's very, very crucial. It's vital, it's super important. So, we receive all the programming through the first and second childhood stage. Maternal influences and relationship. So the moon also reflects our relationship with maternal figures and the impact of our early childhood experiences on our emotional development. So how the parents or caregivers react to us, with us, and in between. So because if it's in the environment that we grow up, we are grasping, although most adults think children don't know nothing, which is absolutely wrong. They are grasping absolutely everything around them. Although they have no conscious of what they're living, they're gonna bring it to a memory when they get to that stage of consciousness, and they're gonna start recalling these memories and bring them to the conscious side. And in therapy, basically mostly in psychotherapy sessions, uh, or in hypnotherapists, we start seeing these things that we have it in the unconscious side of our mind and self, and emotionally wise. So, inner world and intuition. The moon symbolizes our unconscious mind, intuition, and our ability to connect with our feelings on a deeper level. So, it's important to listen to our gut and follow our intuition, because it says that our intuition, it's our second heart. Our first heart, it's not our brain, it's our stomach. So, and our first one, it's our heart, and the second one is our stomach. So the brain is basically the third, the logical part. So we have to learn to listen to our heart and to our gut feeling, so to speak, equal intuition. So complementary to the sun, well, the sun represents our outer self and how we present ourselves to the world. The moon embodies our inner feelings and hidden desires. So, if you know the book from Goleman, Emotional Intelligence, it's a guide for most people that don't know how to make conscious the unconscious, as Carl Jung said, in regards of our emotions. So it has a lot to do with the moon. So here is a chart similar to the first one, and we're going to start with the new moon here. And the new moon starts between 0 to 30 degrees from the sun. So sometimes people have it in conjunct. So that could be also an eclipse if the node it's there. But the new moon, it could be around the first 30 degrees of the house, or even crossing one sign, because every house has, or every sign has 30 degrees. So Remember that the moon has every 20 days of cycle, or 29 sometimes, ends and starts in a new moon cycle, like the female period. It's cyclic. Thus it has a relation with the moon. So the phase 1 is the new moon and has a relation with the first house in the astrological chart, the zodiac, and it represents or has a significance with Aries, and it's ruled by Mars. So if you're born with the new moon, under that new moon, reveals a great capacity to forget and start over, leaving all past behind to start from anew. Has a futuristic vision and can start a new life without any remorse, guilt, or burden from a past experience. So it's like a newborn, basically. And then the second phase of the moon, it's called the waxing crescent. It's when the moon passes the 30 degrees, forming a sextile from the sun's position, and start getting bigger or wider or fatter. In this phase, the moon's illuminated portion, it's thin, crescent-shaped sliver, and it's growing brighter, waxing as it moves towards the first quarter, specifically in the northern hemisphere. The illuminated part appears on the right side and has a relation with the second house of the zodiac sign of Taurus, which is ruled by Venus, the goddess of love and passion. Born with this moon gives the person a great capacity of opportunities in their lives to grow with whatever they have at the moment and holds for future projects. So, the third phase. And also a waxing crescent moon in the second phase of the same stage, and passing the 60 degrees until the 90 degrees approximately, has a relation with the third house, Gemini, and it's ruled by Mercury, the mind. And this phase forms a sextile from the sun's position, thus it is approximately, like I said, 60 to 90 degrees. Individuals born under this moon phase are intellectual and they know where to find the right information to solve any situation in their lives. Since Mercury is the ideas, the intellect, the mind, and the communication, and also the siblings or the neighbors, these individuals possess a quick mind to success in their endeavors. Thus, a trait, personality trait, born by this phase of the moon. So, phase 4 has a relation with the fourth house related to the sign of Cancer. Thus, the moon itself, it's in the house, it's at home. Individuals born under this moon phase are extremely courageous, decided, assertive to take action upon their objectives in life. These people take risks. Their motto is what's important is to take action, so they don't get steady or immobilized. However, to demystify the myth that people with this aspect in the fourth house related to the origin family, because the fourth house, Cancer, and the astrological chart, disregarding any other sign that is placed there, it's related to the origin family, the family originally, mother, father, grandmother, etc. So people that born with this phase moon ain't gonna stay rooted in the birth home nor the family. Rather, they'll go far and away because they're courageous and assertive. So now, phase 5, related to the house 5, the fifth one, Leo is a sign of fire, and it's ruled by the sun itself, so it's approximately 120 degrees to 150 degrees from the sun's position, and it's a waxing gibbous moon. The waxing gibbous moon phase occurs between the first quarter and the full moon, when more than half of the moon's surface is illuminated in the illuminated area. It's increasing. It's more like an ovoid. It looks from far away like you can tell, okay, yeah, it could be a full moon. No, but it's not. It's kind of unshaped. So this moon is known as crescent moon or waxing gibbous stage first of two, because there are two stages of this one. Forms approximately 120 to 150 degrees from the sun. Individuals born, I'm sorry, there's a typo, born with these, I'm gonna fix this now, excuse me. Okay, there. So individuals born under this moon phase possess a coherent sense for expressing and communicate with others, letting flow their inner feelings and thoughts. Therefore, they can harmonize their feelings towards their projects. So, taking in consideration the moon phase with the relation of the house and the ruling planet, you can tell a lot about the personality trait that people born with under the phase of the moon. Now, phase 6, it's called waxing gibbous stage 2 of 2. Like we said, it has two stages, and we see it here. It's between 150 and 180 degrees from the sun position. So finally, the crescent moon's progress has fully increased in size and luminosity. And like I said, it holds a relation, and approximately 150 and 80 degrees from the sun, and it's related to the house 6, the sign of Virgo, ruled by Mercury. Now we have to make a distinction between the Mercury from Gemini and the Mercury from Virgo. They're two different mercurial aspects of Mercury. Now, individuals born under this moon phase are practical and efficient at exercising tasks, and their motto is "a job well done is key." So I would say Virgo, it's a meticulous, logical, mental sign. They like everything very tidy, needy. So organized. They know how to solve issues and situations of all kind with practical insights of all kind. So finally, we reach the full moon in this at the phase 7, and we know the number 7, it's a mythical and mystical number in Kabbalah and in the world for many things than creation, which represents Malhut and its manifestation. So it is the full moon, it manifests at the stage or phase 7 in the sign of Libra, ruled by Venus, which is love, again, the goddess of love, and is approximately at 180 and 210 degrees from the sun position. So, and we say on the opposite side of the moon. The 7th lunar phase is fully illuminated as the Earth, Moon, and Sun form a perfect alignment. This phase marks the culmination of the waxing increasing phase and the beginning of the waning decreasing phase, and holds a relation with the 7th house, Libra, and ruled by Venus. So the personality trait will be the end project gets revealed. Individuals born under this moon phase gives much importance to the end result rather than the process. This moon reveals the maximum light and clarity for smooth and bright culmination. And it's like the 7th day the universe was created and manifested, represents Malhut and the tree of life, and etc. So we can talk about Kabbalah in a different time. Phase 8 relates to the house 8 and the sign of Scorpio, and it's ruled by Pluto. Pluto is the, excuse me, I didn't put the sign here. So Scorpio there, and the ancient or classical ruler was Mars. Now we have two rulers. If you want to see the two aspects of the personality trait by these two planets and the house related to the house 8, sign of Scorpio, and approximately 210 to 240 degrees from the sun position, the moon at this phase starts waning, so decreasing. Individuals born under this moon know and accept the law of cause and effect. They accept the world as it is, and thus there is consequences for their actions. It's some kind of inner knowledge or highly intuition kind of thing. So moon phase 9 related to the house 9, which is Sagittarius, the sign of Sagittarius, the only sign weaponized, humanized, weaponized, and the astrological chart ruled by Jupiter, which is another considered the second sun. So this is the waning stage first of two, the first one, because we got the first gibbous and the second gibbous, and you can see here the difference and how it goes from fatter or wider to thinner, decreasing slowly. So born under this Jupiterian moon phase gives the individuals a great understanding of the unknown and the odds in this life or world. They possess a great intuition, spirituality, and imagination. They can see those things that the rest of people cannot see with their eyes. They understand that in this life will walk hand to hand with the ignorance of the occult. They could be great astrologers because Jupiter in the house 9, it's the philosophy, our philosophy, the mystical philosophy of life or our lives. So phase 10 related to the house 10 belongs to Capricorn, the sign of Capricorn, which is Earth, and ruled by Saturn, and it's approximately 270 degrees to 300 degrees from the sun position. And we can see here it's like the last quarter moon, because we come from this gives here that it's decreasing, and now we see that it's kind of like halfway cracked, broken. So these people are responsible, loyal, and devoted. They can be trusted. Thus, Capricorn and Saturn are Earth and structure sign. They can be trusted. Thus, they can take very high positions as a CEOs or directors or big fish, white collar companies, corps, or businesses, etc. in their lives. As it is the house 10, which is the professional side, how we present ourselves to the world and to the society. The last quarter moon, also known as the third quarter moon, it's a lunar phase where half of the moon appears illuminated and seen from Earth. During this phase, the moon it's the right angle to the sun and the Earth's perspective. The left side of the moon is illuminated for those in the northern hemisphere, while the right side is illuminated for those in the southern hemisphere. So you're gonna see it different if you're in the one of the other side of the hemisphere, but it's the same. So okay, this is a bit off. What happened here? Okay, give me a sec there. Just so it doesn't move around. Okay, so phase 11 related to the house 11, the 11th house, belongs to the sign of Aquarius. It's ruled by the modern ruler Uranus, the classic ruler Saturn. but it's not similar to the Saturn and Capricorn because this is a sign of air and Capricorn is earth. So it's positioned at approximately 300 to 330 degrees from the sun position, and people born under this moon phase gives the individual a personal satisfaction with themselves. Therefore, they ain't gonna look for the fifth leg to the cat. So nothing is lost for them anywhere. They are happy with themselves as it is, or as they are. They take the moment as it comes. So they love whatever they do because they do understand that is what they have to do at the moment. They're happy people in general most of the time. So as you can see, we're almost done with the moon phases, and these moon phases give us a special personality trait that is not revealed in other parts of the sun position or the moon position or Mercury, Venus, Mars, etc. It's really unique and special for every person related to the moon phase we born in. So this is the endless dance of the moon, and I like this graphic very much. And you can see it from near sight. There's kind of like spotted here, and this is from far sight, the hidden, you know, this is visible from Earth. This is what we see, and this is what we cannot see, the other side of the moon. So this is by a satellite. Now this is the dance moon around the sun, and I got the source from NASA, space.com, that you can check, nasa.com. And yeah, it's basically how it's presented. Not most in most graphics you're gonna find the 12 phases. It's mostly cut in crescent or waxing in last quarter, first quarter, new moon, full moon, and the waning. And the other phases in between are dismissed, you know, or disregard. But it's important in our to attain consciousness of our specific moon phase at the birth moment, because it's part of our personality, can reveal a very specific personality trait that we are not aware of. So now we know where it comes from. So phase 12, this is the final stage, and it relates to the 12th house, belongs to the sign of Pisces, and rules by the classic Jupiter, and the modern ruler is Neptune, the transpersonal planet. So it is positioned at the 30 degrees before reaching the sun to close all the moon cycles. So thus all individuals born under this moon phase, again, I'm sorry, I don't know why I do this. I think I typed too fast. Okay. Sometimes my brain goes faster than my hand. All individuals born under this moon phase have a total clarity that they must take to an end, something in their lives. They know this for a fact. It's unconscious. This is the moon, but they know inside themselves very deeply that something has to bring it to an end, or nothing lasts forever, something like that. So they go straight forward to fulfill whatever mission they have. And again, yes, okay. So they go straight forward to fulfill whatever mission they have, although sometimes it does not work with their own desires, because it's the last stage and it belongs to the 12th house, which is Pisces, and it's everything that is hidden from that transgenerational. If we study psychological astrology, the 12th house represents all the secrets, all the hidden things, the womb from our mothers when we were in process of being conceived, and even a year prior, if we go to therapy sessions, psychotherapy sessions, when we study clinical psychology, it takes not just the 12 months, meaning the 9 months, it's actually 10 to conceive a child from the moment it's conceived. It's not count on, because doctors mostly count from the time they can see it, but it's been a month before that time, and it has to take another year before that, and the memory cell of the embryo that collects memories from what the mother was experiencing before she even think about getting pregnant, and we carry that in our memory cells. So that's why the 12th house represents the hidden process, the hidden things, and it has to do with things that has to bring it to an end. It has a great significance if we take psychology part in this depth. So the moon completes 12 full cycles of its phases in about 354 days, which is 11 days short of a calendar year. Every 2.5 years or so, the difference adds up to an extra 13 full moon occurring during the year, and this relatively rare occurrence is sometimes referred to as a blue moon, once in a blue moon, like the quote. So, a waning crescent moon is the final phase in the lunar cycle, appearing as a thin crescent of light on the left side of the moon in the northern hemisphere and the opposite on the southern hemisphere. It occurs between the last quarter moon and the new moon, and it's characterized by a decreasing amount of illuminated lunar surface. That's why it says that something has to become to an end. And the personality trait, kind of like unconsciously, So the illuminated side of the waning crescent moon appears to be on the left, east, in the northern hemisphere, and on the right, east, in the southern hemisphere. Now, there are two important notes here, that when an eclipse is formed, okay, whilst the full moon or a new moon, the whole interpretation varies significantly due to the moon's dynamics gets altered in its essence. So if you're born under an eclipse, don't fully relate to this personality trait. We have to explore our personal natal chart in depth and to see all the aspects and other things in the chart to have better insight of what that phase in your chart represents for you at that moment of the eclipse. So let's see. Now, this is something very important, how we know the formula. The moon phase is in astrology in our natal chart, and it's the part of fortune. And in astrology is sorry. Okay. Yes. So this is the formula. It's the fortune or the lot of fortune. And the formula is the moon minus the sun. So it's the position of the moon degree-wise minus the position of the sun plus the ascendant equals the lot of fortune. And this is a bit wrong because that's the earth's sign. Well, it's supposed to be an X, not the cross straightforward is the earth sign. No, this is correct. It's an X. Cross it. It's the lot of fortune. Some from my studies, I have to say something that I do not agree with some astrologers that do traditional astrology. This is psychological astrology. That they said that for having, for instance, and I'm gonna put example for this, and you can Google it and compare notes. And the fourth house, we're gonna go back all the way to the fourth, and I just pause it. Like I said here, you can read that the phase 4 is related to the sign of Cancer, which represents the fourth, the established home where our parents form a house, a home for us, where we come from, the rooted of the tree of our family tree in the first years of life. And if we have the moon placed in that house, or better say not the moon, the fourth phase of the moon, the lot of fortune in this house in Cancer, in the house of Cancer, of course, not the sign of Cancer, it doesn't mean that we're gonna stay rooted in there. And it's not the lucky side or a lucky part in our lives. It represents a completely different story. That you can see that people, if you know someone, because you can explore and you can learn more if you start comparing information, asking your friends, relatives, acquaintances, or looking at astrological charts of famous people, public, public resources. You can see if they have the lot of fortune in there in the fourth house, and if they stay rooted, or they just went far and away. I know people with this lot of fortune in the fourth house, and like most astrologers said that it's the lucky side for them to keep a healthy relationship with the family of origin, although even if they are narcissistic or toxic, or they treat you bad, or you got a bad experience, etc., it's not a lucky part. It's nothing to do with that. It's just something completely different. So I don't agree with that type of thing. And in psychology, astrological psychology or psychological astrology, we study this very moon phase in depth, and we get to these very deep. This is a very deep meaning for the phase moon in the fourth house. So, and you can do these with every moon phase. Well, in your charts, starting with yourselves. So the best study is to study ourselves, because, and yeah, if we don't know ourselves, we cannot get to know anybody. First we have to know ourselves, starting with what we want. Otherwise, we cannot make it happen. So, if you born with the fourth, in the fourth house, with the fourth phase of the lot of fortune, the part of fortune, and you feel related to this, then it's true. If you don't feel related to this and you think it's not accurate, then you can keep studying and Googling and making conscious other unconscious things, or yeah, go farther in your studies. But I study the moon in depth, and this is very significant. It's very punctual. Like I said, most astrologers don't either use the lot of fortune, they just go very slightly talking about it, or they give an information that is nothing to do with it. There's an astrologer that has in Spanish. This astrologer lives in Barcelona, and his name is Antonio Polito, but he doesn't speak English though, and he's wrote like 3 to 4 books about the moon, if you find him. And he also have very deep studies about the moon, and I study also with him, and this is the most accurate information that I could find across my studies of the moon in regards of the moon phases and the lot of fortune related to a very specific personality trait to individuals. So, well, that's it. I hope you all enjoy it. I wanted to make it fully in English, and I will see if I can put subtitles in Spanish, or maybe I can do it all over in Spanish. It's a lot of work though. But yeah, if somebody's interested in or don't manage very well the English language. Well, thank you all for being here, and I send you a big hug, and thank you very much again, and till the next time.